Nightline begins with me, Azaria Tagaya. The top stories. Government to send chicken to states reporting shortage. And Scott Morrison concedes defeat as opposition Labour Party claims Australian election victory. Good morning. The Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs Ministry will send surplus stock of chicken available in the market to states facing a shortage as an alternative short-term solution. Its Deputy Minister, Datuk Rosal Wahid, said the move was hoped to allay consumers' concerns as chicken supply has fallen short in several states due to the closure of poultry farms by several companies.
Dan kita pergi lihat sendiri ke ladang tersebut untuk meninjau. Jadi pegawai kita dah hantar laporan dan gambar-gambar sekali. Memang ada unsur-unsur kekurangan makanan ataupun kekurangan berat dan unsur ada yang terkena penyakit daripada gambar tersebut. Jadi pun begitu, laporan yang kita terima bahawa kita ayam ni kita dah oversupply. Laporan yang kita terima, ayam yang perlu digunakan di Malaysia ni dalam satu pusingan sebanyak 60 juta. Tapi yang disupply 66 juta. Maknanya dah ada surplus 6 juta. Maknanya isunya tidak sepatutnya timbul.
Datuk Rosal said this to the media after inspecting the Keluarga Malaysia sales program in Kuala Berang. On the closure of several poultry farms believed to be stricken by growth problems and diseases, Datuk Rosal said the ministry's enforcement officers had monitored and conducted investigations at the farms and stern action would be taken under the Control of Supplies Act 1961 if there was any manipulation to disrupt the stability of chicken supply in the market. The Health Ministry does not plan to extend the COVID-19 National Immunisation Programme for Children, or PICKids, which is scheduled to end on May 31st. Deputy Health Minister Datuk Dr. Nur Azmi Ghazali said the ministry had allocated enough time for parents to bring their children to be vaccinated free of charge.
Kita dah bagi masa yang cukup dan saya menyeru dan merayu kepada ibu ayah, buatlah keputusan yang terbaik untuk anak kita. Tujuan hasrat murni kita dan usaha kuat KKM adalah untuk menyelamatkan anak kita, mengurangkan daripada risiko yang sangat bahaya. Jadi kita ada 10 hari lagi, ambil peluang. Dan 10 hari ini kita datanglah ke mana-mana KK di Malaysia ni, ada lebih 1000 klinik kesihatan.
Datuk Dr. Nur Azmi said this to the media after opening the Parent-Teacher Association annual general meeting of Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan Abu Bakar Al-Bakir in Bagan Serai, Perak. He added that after May 31st, the vaccination would only be available at private facilities for a fee. The daily number of children receiving the vaccine showed an increase after Aidilfitri, with 7,137 children getting the jab on Friday, as compared to 2,798 on May 17th. To date, Sarawak recorded the highest percentage of children who had been vaccinated at 87.4%, followed by Kuala Lumpur, Johor, Negeri Sembilan, Pulau Pinang and Labuan. The proposed legislation on political funding is long overdue as a move to promote better governance and integrity. Analysts tell Nightline that the legislation must be drafted comprehensively to ensure it serves its purpose for transparency and integrity in the governance of all political parties, which is best enacted before the 15th general election. It is crucial to monitor and regulate the money trail, especially during the election season. For this, the regulation through the new bill is required. However, most importantly, what is political funding?
Although it was rejected back in 2016 by the opposition, I strongly believe that at this moment, when the ruling government and the opposition can work closely together, there should be a consensus and agreement to make sure that the ruling government would be able to table and also to get the approval of the cabinet first to ensure they would be able to iron out all the details, especially on the definition of political funding, so that people do not misunderstand the differences between political funding, donation, and also giving gift to certain political parties members or the masses.
While there is belief that political funding can occur via illegal means, there are also concerns that individuals can become victims of selective prosecution.
Comparing the bill on anti-hopping bill and the political funding bill, the political funding bill is more critical. Not so much to curb corruption in our political scenario, but more importantly, to curb political interference by foreign entities. When I say foreign entities, the non-citizen, whether an individual which is non-citizen of Malaysia or an organization which is a foreign entities too. So I think it's very important the bill going to be implemented as soon as possible.
The law on political funding was mooted a long time ago, but there had been a delay in getting it done.
In 2016, a National Consultative Committee was formed on political funding so that they would be able to have a detailed proposal. In fact, a comparison was done with South Korea, Indonesia, Canada, and also Taiwan to understand better how does political funding works well in these countries. And I think it's time for Malaysia, as much as the way forward towards good governance, transparency, and also accountability for the government to table and also get the approval so that it will be tabled.
For example, Singapore, for example, they have the political funding bill for a number of years already. No foreign entities can donate even $1 Singapore to any political party in Singapore. This is to avoid any misuse of donation by by foreign entities, for example. I think that's the reason why we need the bill on the political funding as soon as possible up and running, maybe before GE 15, for example.
One of the goals of introducing the new bill is to clean up the system in order to regain voters' confidence.
We cannot deny that some will disagree, dissatisfied with the implementation of this act because they do not want to be seen supporting Group A or Group B. But then I think we have to move forward. We also have to cap the amount that we allow an individual or organization to support their preferred political parties or leaders. For example, if it is 3,000, then anything above 3,000 should be declared. And maybe the income tax can waive taxes for those who declare and also those who contribute in political funding.
Currently, it is under the purview of cabinet members, a group of cabinet members, but I hope we can go beyond that. For example, the bill is scrutinized or developed by a non-partisan group, a Parliament Select Committee, for example, that consists of both divides or political divides. I think that's the best way because all hands are needed to support this bill. So I think for starting is a good point, but after this we have got a long way to go. Support are needed. I think from the people's point of view, from the voters' point of view, there is no problem in terms of support. But in terms of support from the politicians, from Member of Parliament in Dewan Rakyat, I think that's very critical. I think that's the reason why a Parliament Select Committee is very important that consists of all political divides inside the committee to develop the bill so that all can be agreeable. So when the voting process go to Dewan Rakyat and also Dewan Negara, it will be supported by all. I think that's very important.
Ayo semarakkan sokongan anda untuk Harimau Malaya. Siri persahabatan antarabangsa secara langsung hanya di TV9 dan Astro 149.
Malaysia will send diplomatic notes to 168 countries that signed the New York Convention as an early notification on a possible unilateral legal claim by the heirs of Sultan Jamalul Kiram II or arbitrator Dr. Gonzalo Stampa over the final award to the descendants of the Sulu Sultan. Foreign Minister Datuk Sri Saifuddin Abdullah said the proactive move was taken so that all 168 countries were aware of the unilateral claim, apart from hoping that the countries involved would inform Malaysia if there were such applications filed in their countries.
Supaya mereka tahulah sebagai negara sahabat yang kita ada isu di Perancis dan sekiranya ia berlaku di negara mereka, memang itu hal ehwal undang-undang. Kementerian Luar Negara tersebut takkan campur tangan, tapi sebagai sahabat kita bagi tahu dia bahawa ini mungkin berlaku di negara tuan. Jadi kalau berlaku tolong bagi tahu kami.
Speaking to the media at the Indra Mahkota Perikatan Nasional Hari Raya Aidilfitri Open House, Datuk Sri Saifuddin added that Stampa had made the final award in France and it was not known if Stampa and Sulu Sultan heirs would stop in France or to other countries with the same claim. In the meantime, Malaysia has applied to strike out the final award and are now waiting for the decision of the French court. Touching on the matter, Datuk Sri Saifuddin, who is also Indra Mahkota MP, said he had met with Sabah Chief Minister Datuk Sri Haji Jino on Friday and informed him of the federal government's action to fight the claim of the heirs of the Sulu Sultan. Both sides have agreed to meet more frequently to launch the effort. More than 1,000 individuals have had to reject the offer to perform the Hajj pilgrimage due to various factors, including health problems. Minister in the Prime Minister's Department for Religious Affairs, Datuk Idris Ahmad, said the numbers were recorded through the first call list for potential pilgrims this year.
1,000 lebih yang ditolak. Yang kita telah buat panggilan kedua. Panggilan kedua. Kita beri masa panggilan kedua. Lepas panggilan kedua, kalau ada masa lagi yang tolak sebagai, kita panggil pula panggilan ketiga.
So ditolak atas faktor kesihatan ataupun dia tak nak pergi macam mana?
Kadang-kadang faktor dia tak nak pergi, faktor kesihatan. Ada juga faktor-faktor sendiri.
Speaking after opening the Rehlah Til Jannah program series in Marang, Terengganu, Datuk Idris said Tabung Haji TH has issued the offer letter for the second call for the group of Malaysians who are eligible to perform the Hajj pilgrimage for the 2022 season. Datuk Idris added that those who have received the offer letters from TH to perform the Hajj pilgrimage but are not able to proceed with the journey as they failed the health screening should accept the decision with an open heart, as the health screening was a condition set by the Saudi Arabian government and not by DH. The police will step up operations and raids to hunt down leaders of drug syndicates nationwide. Bukit Aman Narcotics Criminal Investigation Department NCID Director Dato' Ayub Khan Maidin Piche said efforts to prevent drug trafficking would be futile unless the drug lords were eliminated.
Bulan 5 bulan ini kita telah melancarkan 3 siri optapis khas dan lebih kurang dekat 2,000 lebih 1,500 lebih tokan kita dapat tangkap, termasuklah pengguna tegar ni yang bawah 39C terhadap 1,150 orang lebih. So kita akan teruskan momentum ini dan kita akan fokuskan kepada ketua-ketua sindiket lah. Dan saya rasa kalau ketua sindiket tak ditangkap, isu dadah ni takkan habis.
Speaking to the media after attending an Aidilfitri celebration hosted by the department at the Kuala Lumpur Police Training Centre on Saturday, Dato' Ayub Khan added that the NCID would be taking up the challenge issued by Home Minister Datuk Sri Hamzah Zainuddin, who had earlier urged the police to step up efforts to curb drug trafficking. Dato' Ayub Khan said that since taking over the department, his focus has been on arresting the drug lords, adding that the police will work to eliminate drug trafficking in order to ensure the future of youth in the country. More local news later in the bulletin, but first, after this breather, US President Joe Biden offers aid to COVID-stricken North Korea. Don't go away.
We're back with news from the foreign front. Australia's opposition Labour Party leader Anthony Albanese has claimed victory in the country's national election. This after Prime Minister Scott Morrison late on Saturday conceded defeat, even as the votes are still being counted, ending nearly a decade of Conservative government. In his victory speech, Albanese vowed to make Australia a renewable energy superpower, give Indigenous people a voice in national policymaking and make equal opportunity for women a national priority. Albanese added that he aimed to be sworn in as Prime Minister swiftly so he could attend a meeting of the Quad security grouping with the United States, Japan and India in Tokyo on Tuesday. Morrison earlier conceded defeat despite millions of votes yet to be counted and the possibility of the Labour Party only achieving minority government. According to partial results, Labour has so far secured 72 seats, 4 seats short of the majority in the 151-member lower house of the parliament. The centre-right coalition led by Prime Minister Scott Morrison, meanwhile, has so far secured 51 seats, and final results could take time as the counting of a record number of postal votes is completed. If the Labour Party are unable to secure an outright victory, Australia will have a hung parliament for the first time since 2010. US President Joe Biden said Saturday that America had offered COVID-19 vaccines to Pyongyang but got no response despite a spiraling epidemic in North Korea where nearly 2.5 million people have fallen sick with fever. Biden, who is in Seoul on his first trip to Asia, said the United States and South Korea had also made a fresh offer of COVID-19 aid to Pyongyang but had not heard back.
We've offered vaccines not only to North Korea but to China as well, and we're prepared to do that immediately. We've got no response. With regard to whether I would meet with the leader of North Korea, that would depend on whether he was sincere and whether it was serious. With the Korean and American troops, we're still serving.
Speaking in a joint briefing from Seoul, Biden and new South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol also expressed concern Saturday over North Korea's spiraling COVID-19 outbreak. North Korea reported its first cases of Omicron earlier this month, and despite a maximum emergency epidemic campaign, the virus has torn through its unvaccinated 25 million population. On Saturday, North Korean state media reported nearly 2.5 million people had been sick with fever, with 66 confirmed deaths since the outbreak started. Nur Aiman bags Malaysia's 37th SEA Games gold. Updates from Hanoi when we come back. We're back with sports. Rider Nur Aiman Zarif won Malaysia's 37th SEA Games gold medal in the men's individual road race on Saturday.
Nur Aiman, who is from the Terengganu cycling team, emerged victorious in a time of 3 hours, 48 minutes and 22 seconds in the 162.2-kilometre race at Ho Bin. He outsprinted 3 other riders who were in the same breakaway group with him. Indonesia's Aiman Cahyadi and Thailand's Navuti Liponbiu claimed the silver and the bronze respectively. Singapore's Yeo Boon Kiak, the other rider in the breakaway group, came in 4th. For the record, the last Malaysian cyclist to win the prestigious men's road race title was fellow TSG teammate Harif Saleh at the 2017 Kuala Lumpur SEA Games. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob earlier congratulated the Malaysian contingent for achieving the target of winning 36 gold medals at the 31st SEA Games in Hanoi, Vietnam. In a post on his Facebook page, he also expressed his pride over the achievements of Keluarga Malaysia athletes. And for those who did not manage to bring home medals, he said that it is okay as the Keluarga Malaysia would always give our support. The Malaysian contingent achieved their 36-goal target at the 31st SEA Games on Friday through the men's Kumite event, where they beat Indonesia 3-0 in the final.
After this breather, body of missing hiker found after a week. Stay tuned. Thanks for staying with us on Nightline. The body of one of the 2 female hikers who went missing at Gunung Suku, Simpang Pulai on May 15th was found on Saturday on the 7th day of the search and rescue operation. Perak Fire and Rescue Department Assistant Director of Operations Muhammad Shahrizal Aris said the body was found intact but with head and body injuries. He said authorities found the body under a pile of debris near the tunnel area near Jalan Besar at about 11:20 a.m. on Saturday before it was handed over to police at 11:55 a.m. He added that the search operation involving 43 rescuers from various agencies with the assistance of the K9 unit had earlier resumed at 9 a.m. and ended at 1 p.m. It was reported that since Monday, the search and rescue team had found several body parts believed to belong to one of the 2 hikers. On May 15th, the 2 victims identified as 32-year-old Si Su Yen from Cheras, Kuala Lumpur and 46-year-old Ng Yi Chu from Klang, Selangor were swept away by a sudden surge of water and soil while hiking with a group of 29 people. Police have arrested a security guard who claimed to have seen a tiger roaming near Kemensa Heights in Hulu Klang, thus causing fear among its residents. The 51-year-old man, a Bangladesh national, was picked up by police at a security post in Jalan Tropika, Kemensa Heights at about 7 p.m. on Friday.
Ampang Jaya District Police Chief Assistant Commissioner Muhammad Farouk Ishak said the suspect is believed to be the person who spread the information about the sighting of the tiger via a voice note which has since been spread on WhatsApp. Preliminary investigations also found that the suspect did not have any valid documents to stay in the country. He said at the moment, the police, along with the Departments of Wildlife and National Park Peninsula Malaysia or Perhilitan, are still carrying out further investigations into the claims made by the suspect.
Kita pun telah memanggil saksi pengawal keselamatan ni yang cuba yang membuat panggilan mengaku ada serempak dengan harimau tersebut pun dapat menunjukkan ciri-ciri yang jelas lah bahawa betulkah harimau yang dia nampak tu kan.
He added that there was also an additional police report lodged by a 52-year-old local man over the audio message about the alleged tiger sighting in the neighbourhood. The complainant had lodged the police report as he believed the viral audio message was not true and had triggered concern and fear among residents. The case is being investigated under the Immigration Act and the Communications and Multimedia Act.
Fans can now own a piece of recording history for a steep price as select items from Madonna, Kurt Cobain, Whitney Houston and many more go on the auction block. Julian's Auctions collected one-of-a-kind items for its annual Iconic Pieces auction, including the outfit that Madonna wore in her 1985 video for Material Girl. Let's take a look as we wrap up Nightline this time around. With that, I'm Azaria Tagaya. Thank you for watching and have a great weekend.